We have Richard Schiff from The Good Doctor coming up in hour number 3, but now returning to the Rich Eisen Show, one of our favorite guests. Last time we spoke to this man, we were in Pittsburgh, PA for Thursday Night Football prior to the ultimate destruction of Marcus Mariota and the Titans that night. He's in Rampage in theaters near you right now, has been there since last Friday, starring along with The Rock and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Joe Manganiello, good to see you again,
Great
bud.
seeing you, Rich.
I don't know how to introduce you. Maybe I could introduce you as well as the man who shares the same nutritionist as Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Is that the fact? Is that...
That's how I got a hold of him. Yeah, there was Steelers ownership put me in touch with this guy who was working with AB, who had previously, I guess Pete Carroll brought him to diagnose the entire Seattle Seahawks team, and then they won that year. And then the following year, the Patriots brought him in to work with the Patriots, and then they won that year. And then the following year, Carolina heard about it, and they wound up going to the Super Bowl, but not winning. So basically, anybody this guy touches has a breakout year.
The secret sauce in the NFL has been a nutritionist all these past few years, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for advantage, for example, players get in trouble for injecting performance-enhancing drugs.
I've heard of that story.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing. When you eat, you're guessing what you should be eating. This guy goes in, takes 10 vials of your blood. About 2 weeks later, he comes back and gives you 26 pages worth of results and tells you exactly what you should be eating, what you're deficient in. Some CoQ10 supplement that you buy at Whole Foods could completely unblock your testosterone.
And then so business booms, in particular of one wide receiver in that regard.
For us, yeah, and Ryan Shazier was working with him as well, and he went to the Pro Bowl. So pretty much anybody this guy talks to, it's the idea is that he can create the same effect internally that players have been gotten in trouble for trying to do externally.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and now I give him to you.
Yeah, you give it to
so
me
your
for my
40-yard dash is going to be exponentially faster next year. I am biohacking your 40 times.
Okay. Is that legal? But this is legal. It's on the up and
I mean,
up, right?
It's like eat this versus this and take this vitamin, which will help you out. And your body is designed to eat red meat versus fish. And
How do I not do this, right?
Well, this goes back to what we talk about every single year, Rich. Are you going to take this seriously and train and get your body and mind ready to really run a fantastic 40?
I'll give you another example.
Yes, Joe Manganiello.
I gave this guy for Christmas. I got this diagnosis of this trainer for my trainer, Ron, who you've met, and he went on to win the CrossFit Masters that year.
Do you get a green jacket for that?
I don't get anything.
No.
Him?
When you win the CrossFit Masters,
Like a green tank top? Yeah.
By the way, and would you wear that green tank top everywhere
no jacket.
for 3 straight weeks?
You get green Oli shoes is what you get.
Oh, my gosh. Now, I know you were working out with a mountain, right, from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I went to Iceland, and I went to Thor's Power Gym, and I worked out with Thor.
Thor's Power Gym. By the way, that's another great fantasy team name. Thor's
down.
Power Gym. Be a great team name, fantasy team name.
Yeah, so I went. It was when we got there, he said, "Okay, what do you guys want to lift today?" And I said, "Why don't we do legs?" And he went, "Pfft," because he had just squatted 927 the day before. That was my version of a joke. Let's do legs.
By the way, 927, according to Mike Del Tufo, would be 9 plates of 27, right?
Yeah, if they had a 27-pound weight.
So Joe, he's been working out, our audio executive, okay, and he says he said he could plank 125. Now, what is it? No, 145?
145.
Okay. He says he could plank 145. What does that mean to you when you hear plank 145?
Plank 145.
Yes.
What is it? Is it like when they bring out the live sushi table, when they lay the sushi table there and they put the sushi on top and you all eat off of some naked person?
No, when he's
like he's planking with a 45-pound plate on it?
No. That he would get into a plank position.
Yes.
And plank 145. What does that mean? What do you think when you hear that? That means what?
He's going to plank 145.
No, but I said plank 145.
Is this does this have something to do with nautical terms?
No, he says it.
If Joe goes the right go.
That he would plate one plate of 45 pounds.
One plate of 45.
Because we're like, you cannot plank 145 pounds. And there he is on screen with Michael Irvin barking out instructions to him right here.
Oh, so this is what I thought. So if we
Yeah.
could get
There's no
100,
sushi there.
145
I'm
pounds
up to
of
2
sushi.
now. I do
That's
2 now.
exactly what
Actually,
I was
that's
saying.
90 pounds on his back right there.
This is great. How long did you go?
A minute.
A minute.
A solid minute.
All right.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin is
Yeah,
getting
he was
into
gotten down. He was barking at him and everything.
I played flag football with Michael Irvin one year for Madden,
Okay.
and it was Michael Irvin was on the other team. Kurt Warner. It's how I met Kurt. Kurt was quarterbacking with Michael Irvin, Rod Woodson, and Shannon Sharp. And Michael Irvin popped his Achilles in like the first quarter.
That was here in Southern California,
Yeah,
right?
I was there.
too.
Oh,
I was,
you were?
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
you were in the end
calling
zone.
the action with Marshall
With Marshall,
Falk.
yeah. I caught a touchdown from Joe Montana that game. I mean, can you imagine?
Wow.
Like, seriously, I go into the huddle of this flag football game, and we're in the huddle, and Joe Montana looks at me and goes, "It's coming to you." Like, pinch me.
Right. Western
You kidding?
PA's
Yeah. I mean,
finest.
my last football game in high school was against Joe's high school, Ringgold.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "It's coming to you." So I come out, he goes, "Run a post pattern. I'm going to hit you back corner of the end zone."
How nervous were you?
Break. Well, we come out. Dion comes up to me and he goes, "Hey," he goes, break for your post at the 5-yard line. I'm going to take your guy out. Like Dion was that competitive.
So he was running the route with you.
So I hit the 5-yard line,
Mm-hmm.
broke into my post pattern, and Dion just jacked whoever was guarding me, and Joe put it right there for a touchdown.
That's it.
Amazing.
Where does that compare to doing what you do professionally, what you have done professionally?
Oh, man.
Where does that compare for you, man?
I mean, there are comparisons. I mean, like doing a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was another one of those. Being in like hair and makeup in the morning and talking to Arnold and realizing we're going to go shoot a movie together as peers. That was a big deal. Getting a call from Paul Rubens saying, "Do you want to play Pee Wee Herman's best friend in my new movie?"
Wait a minute.
That's
You're
another
comparing-
one.
Paul Rubens and Joe Montana are on a similar level.
If you look at it that way, it's like, you mean, because then you get to set and he's in his Pee Wee suit and you're there and you have to play the scene and you're this. I can't believe I'm talking to Pee Wee. Pee Wee is talking to me like Pee Wee.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah, it's in a bizarro universe. I think they're equivalent.
I'll take a 60-second break, come back. I want to hit you up on what it's like to be with The Rock right now. And you want to talk about crazy, huge success going on right now. And along with your success with some of these great movies that you've been in lately, I want to hit up, did you do any workouts with The Rock at all?
I'm going to tell you something. I mean, this is giving away part of the movie.
Well, then hold on a minute. Don't give that away.
Okay.
Let's do that in 60 seconds.
When we come back.
Yes, we do that. And I want to hit you up on, because Billy Gardell was here a couple weeks ago, and he had quite a lot to say about Le'Veon Bell. I want your 2 cents on what you think your Steelers should do with Le'Veon Bell.
We can talk about that.
And then there's Sidney Crosby for the good stuff. That's coming up next here with Joe Manganiello in 60 seconds. All right, Joe Manganiello here. Another segment at Joe Manganiello on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Follow this man. Rampage in theaters near you right now. What was this like being on the set with The Rock for a huge budget monster picture?
So I don't want to give too much away, but The Rock was off with the gorilla while I was off with the wolf.
Okay. So there wasn't much.
So I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But, whether or not our paths cross, you have to go see the movie.
What about in the gym?
In the gym? No, I had my squad of guys in the film.
Okay.
And I worked out with them. We never got a workout.
Okay. So any sort of answer would be a spoiler alert, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything. All right. So your Steelers now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they should do with Le'Veon Bell? Pay him?
Look, I mean, there's market value. And, I mean, he's a running back. So what are you going to do? You want to?
He's a wide, but I mean, you take a look at his numbers compared to Sammy Watkins, for instance.
Sure.
And they're not all 2 and 3 yard dump passes either. It's not just him in the flat going 2 steps out. And we see he's wide. He's wide, creating matchup nightmares. Certainly when there's Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster to deal with here. So okay.
Well, this is the Jimmy Graham argument.
Well, it is the Jimmy Graham argument. Are you a tight end? But everyone knows that he's a wide receiver and not really a tight end, too. Okay, he might wind up as a tight end. He's not blocking anybody. That was his problem in Seattle.
Right.
Nobody ever thought, okay, they're going to run the football here because Jimmy Graham's on the field. And then they didn't run it all.
But refresh my memory. What was the resolution on the Jimmy Graham situation?
They made him a tight end.
They made him a tight end?
Right. But, look, there has to be some sort of middle ground because this guy, 50 catches more than Sammy Watkins last year.
Okay, well,
And then he had, and just look what Sammy Watkins did in free agency.
well, Sammy should complain to his quarterback and his coach. I don't know what to say. You know, I mean, Marshall Faulk, Thurman Thomas. These are great receiving running backs.
Correct.
Were they paid as receivers or were they paid as running backs? I mean, it was a different market then, and I think that's really the argument that's happening. But is that the Steelers' job to then break the market or change the market as he put it? You know, I mean, is that our issue, or is that just the fact that the running back position has been devalued? So you have a guy asking for money, but we're making him the highest paid running back in the league. At some point, you have to abandon this idea that you're going to reset the market for running backs in today's world, because that's not the case. He's a very unique player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Antonio Brown. He's not a wide receiver. He does play running back.
Unless he does finally keep getting franchise tagged to the point where it can't happen anymore, and then he does test the open market.
Well, and that's what we're headed to. So, you know, but I mean, and I understand that the guy has grievances in terms of contract, but there's some off the field stuff too that hopefully, you know, stops being such a distraction, because there's also a part of that as well.
Do you think the Steelers should take a quarterback in the draft?
I mean, it depends on who we can get, you know, third, fourth round, because it would be picking a guy in the same position that we picked Josh Dobbs last year. I mean, we have needs other than that I think the best player at inside linebacker, the best player at outside linebacker, the best defensive back, those guys need to come off the board and need to be drafted in those first few rounds, I think, right now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because Big Ben is kind of on that year-to-year thing right now, it looks like. The Favre, I don't know if I'm going to, I'll do it.
Well,
sort of
he
plan
was
right now.
last year. But I think, personally, the wavering last year was a message being sent to certain people that changes needed to be made.
To get rid of Todd Haley.
I mean, I'm you.
I said
Those
that.
are your words.
I know.
But I think that was a shot across the bow. That was a message, and I think the message was received. I think that Ben is excited. I mean, it sounds like Ben's excited to play this year. There were some changes that were made.
He has not. We have not heard him say, you know, I'm thinking of my football mentality. I don't know how many years I have left.
Right.
We have not heard that.
Not this year.
yet.
And he's not getting mauled the way that he used to. I mean, those two Super Bowls that we won, and then the one that we lost with Ben, we had a real patchwork offensive line during that time. The offensive line was really, I think, one of the weaknesses on our squad, and we still managed to win those Super Bowls. Now it's the strength. So Ben's not taking the pounding that he's taking, and I think, you know, he's got an offensive coordinator that he approves of. He's got a great offense around him. I mean, why wouldn't you stick around and see what could happen?
Couple more minutes left with Joe Manganiello here. What did you voice over for the Penguins? What did you do? What was that thing?
I did the 50-year comprehensive Penguins documentary. Pittsburgh is home. It's the 50-year history of the Penguins.
So where do you think Sidney Crosby sits in the pantheon of Pittsburgh sports already, right now? Where do you think he sits?
Well, you know, we had this conversation before about Lemieux, and I think that Lemieux is the number one Pittsburgh sports legend or icon, if you will.
Of any of the major teams?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when do you ever have another player who went through what he went through, battled cancer, battled the back surgery, and then came back, continued to play, and then, liquidated his assets, bought the team, and kept them from leaving the city? He's a savior. So, but I think as far as Crosby goes, I mean, Crosby is one of the all-time NHL greats, period. And I know people are going to come after me because whatever, but I don't care. That guy is unbelievable. You watch the playoffs that he's having right now, and you look at his resume, he's incredible. He's absolutely unbelievable. He's one of the all-time Pittsburgh greats.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's got years to play.
he does have years to play. It's unbelievable. So what's next on tap for you? Anything you want to promote that's going on right now other than Rampage?
What's next for me? Just go see Rampage. Go see the number one movie in the world.
There you go. See the number one movie in the world, and you're going to give me your rainmaker, who will make me faster.
That's it. Yeah, I'm telling you.
All right.
We're gonna biohack you, Rich.
So but that's a good thing, right? Being biohacked. Very good. Namaste. Good to see you, Joe Manganiello.
Great seeing you,
Thanks
Rich.
for coming on.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.